Keith says, "What are we doing? How are we doing?" I says, "We're winning it." I says, "No, yeah." And all right, I said, "Calm down." I said, "Don't tell anybody." I said, "Just keep calm." I said, "Just keep it to ourselves and we'll just carry on as we are." And we won it outright, absolutely blew them all away. There's Ian Joel in his Cosworth, and Tyson, he had a Escort Cosworth, and there's a lot of big cars. And
Yeah.
Steve Eggleston was doing it in his Escort, and we came out of Rough Club after the presentation and that, and he walked past my car. I looked at it like it was a bit of a dog turd. He turned around to me and he says, "You just wouldn't believe it," and he just walked away.
Welcome back to another episode of my Off the Track Motorsport podcast. I'm excited to introduce our new sponsor, Asessippi Ski Resort in Manitoba, Canada. If you're looking for an unforgettable winter adventure, Asessippi is the place for you. They offer free accommodation, full visa assistance, and a variety of roles from bar and restaurant work to ski instruction and lift operation. At Asessippi, you'll be part of a fun, welcoming community where you'll make lifelong friends and lasting memories. With Scottish general managers, one of whom you might see wearing a kilt in the snow, you'll feel right at home. For more information, please email sales@asessippi.com. A big thanks to them for supporting this podcast. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of my Off the Track podcast series. This week, in the lead up to the Mull Rally, very exciting. I've got a 20-time enter rally veteran in the form of Dougi Hall. Now, Dougie, first of all, I must apologise because I've dragged you back from the pool. I believe you're out in Spain. How's it going?
I am. Yeah, well, it's all right. Sonny's happy. She's in the sun, so I'm happy. I'm in the shade.
Yeah, you're in the shade talking about rallying and she's out sunbathing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a good wee setup. No, it looks like you're very happy and enjoying it.
I'd maybe rather be cycling, but I'll be happy with this for now.
Excellent. Well, we won't waste any time and we'll get straight into it. So I like to go back to the start and then we'll build a bit of a picture about the kind of your rallying over the years and how things have evolved and where it went and what came from it. So I believe your first rally, we were talking about this before, your first rallies were in 1986. Now, I believe that was in the Celica, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it probably went back a little bit further than that, but it was the Celica, yeah. Yeah, could have been 85. Well, 86 would be the Mark II rear-wheel drive, actually. Okay. Prior to that would be the Celica. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look at that itinerary that Gareth did, but it could be back to, I don't know if you've got it.
Yeah. I did have a little look at it, and it did say 1985. There was a handful of events that you competed in then, and then went off, and it was a bit more. It kind of built up a bit more in that. Now, it was 1986. Was that the first year you did the Mull Rally or the Tour Mull back then?
Yeah, that's right. That was my first major assault at Motor News Championship, really. So Mull was obviously one of them. Yeah.
So you were doing the Motor News Championship, and then obviously Mull being a part of that. That's what brought you to the island.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Just we doubled with it in '85, I think, and then '86 we decided to have a go. It was quite interesting, really. We got some pretty good results. I think I did the Bath Festival with another navigator, actually, Richard Endane. I got 10th on that with him, actually. That was quite interesting. We left the start line. He'd never been in. It wasn't really quick, that car. It was just a Pinto, 2-litre Pinto.
Yeah.
It handled really well. We left the start line. It was about a quarter of a mile straight, and then there was a hairpin. And he was so gobsmacked at how it set off. He never said anything. Next thing I knew, there was all these people, and I just had to throw it sideways. We slid sideways down the road and went around the hairpin perfectly. I said, "Are you all right?" "I think I will be now." And it was perfect from then on. But yeah, that was a bit of a moment, that one.
Sounds very much like that flat to the square right video that we've all seen. The Irish boys when they come into that square right.
Yeah.
But you had no pace notes. You were just like, right, okay.
Yeah, well, he just never said anything, so I just assumed it was straight. So, yeah, it was great.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
What was it like getting behind the wheel for the first Mull Rally? Well, your first Mull Rally. How did that feel? What was it? What was your first thoughts when you came across the event?
Fine, really. Roads aren't really dissimilar to around my own home area. They're a little bit more naturally, slightly narrower, maybe. They've just got them hidden bumps and jumps that you don't really notice. That's what caught us out, but on that first one. But yeah, I wasn't really, phased by it. I was never really phased by anything, to be honest. I think that was one of my downfalls. I had no fear whatsoever. Never ever thought about crashing or harming myself or harming anybody else. Or I just wanted to drive as quick as the car could cope with, and often I found the car's limits, unfortunately,
And beyond the
and
limit.
beyond the limits. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, beyond the car's limits. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, we had some pretty good results in the '86. We went to Wales, did our first rally in Wales. We're third overall, I think. I think that was the Eagle Rally. Uh, Went to Coleman Tyres. I was just entering rally after rally. We were late entering, really, so we didn't sort of get seeded. Went to Coleman Tyres and we didn't have a run, went as a reserve. Organiser wasn't keen to put me in very far up, and I persuaded him to put me in at number 7 because we were waiting for this run. And I went to see him and he said, "Oh, well, 27's not here." I said, "Well, number 7's not here." And he just looked at me. I said, "You put me at 7, I won't let you down. I won't hold anybody up." And we were lying second overall. And then we got a punchy. I can't remember what we ended up, maybe 4th or 5th. But and then we won the ball at midnight. And on the way to Mull, that was a late entry again. Tough, obviously, was the organiser at the time. He says, "Well, I can put you in at 13, but we don't like putting people at 13. We don't run a 13. I says, "Oh, I'm not suspicious. Just get me banged in there." And on the way to Mull, Gareth was reading Motor News and he says, "Do you realise you've been pulled up for Ford's Man of the Month?" Which I had no idea what it meant or what it meant. And it was between me and Mark Lovell. And Mark Lovell got it, actually. But yeah, that was because of my performances on the Motor News Championship, like the Wales, first time in Wales and Coleman Tyres, where we were lying till we got a punch in, and then winning the ball at midnight. But that was the criteria that got me up for Ford Man of the Month. And then Mull, here we came.
Excellent. And that's where it started. So unfortunately, you
Yeah.
didn't manage to win the Ford Man of the Month. He got
No,
it.
Mark got it, yeah.
Was there some foul play at hand there, do you think?
I
A bit
don't
of
know, really,
favouritism.
but it would have probably played out lucrative, I could have got, I don't know what you got out of it now, but I'd have probably benefit, I don't know what I would have got from it. But might have enhanced my career, you never know.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
back in the end days, Dougie, obviously we had the bill that went through Parliament, and we had Mull changed to a proper closed road event in 1992. Now, obviously, pre that it was like a road rally. Now, it
yeah.
kind of blows my mind that the roads were actually open. Like for the people that obviously didn't see it back then, can you explain a little bit about how it was, or how you actually cleared the roads, or was there people like randomly coming on the road?
Oh, yeah, yeah, you could get farmers like coming out early morning. The worst time really was when pubs were closing. Uh, but all the local people, they went around and sort of told all the any houses on the route or everything. They all got a letter. They went around and PR'd it all. Um, and then obviously there wasn't so many incomers, so most people were local. Most people knew what was going on. They knew to keep out of the way, basically, because there'd be cars coming past the road end at 100 plus mile an hour.
Yeah.
And yeah, I never had a major sort of interaction with anybody. Some did, and there was some crashes, but I never like going from the Motor News road rallies, on open roads as such, to going to like closed roads on Mull, and it never affected my thinking whatsoever. I just still then when I was doing the rally, I was just doing the rally. I just drove as quick as possible. It never entered my head that there might be something coming to the way, or that somebody might come out of a drive, or
Yeah.
it just never ever crossed my mind that part of the danger. Like I never even discussed it with Gareth. We never discussed it. He must not have saw an issue with the danger of that, and it was just completely just like an out and out, absolute 100%, 110%.
Yeah.
You couldn't really think about that. Like, well, I didn't. So, you wouldn't have won a rally if you'd been thinking like that.
Yeah.
Some lads maybe did. You see, I don't know, but we never ever had pace notes. Gareth, we were absolutely truly to the maps.
Uh-huh.
Every single event. Um, we did try and make notes for one event. It was maybe the Illuminations, or Gareth will know. And because we knew other people were on notes, and obviously that was a local event. We knew the roads, we knew the route, so we thought we'd try and make notes.
Yeah.
And I think it was like there were selectives then rather than stages. I think it was maybe the second selective. We were coming near Moreland, which is a local area for me, and he's reading his notes, and I said, "Throw them effing things in the back of that car and get on that map." And because I just knew when we were on roads, I knew that they weren't right,
Yeah.
because we'd never met them before, and they weren't right, But when he was on the map, to me, it was right. So that was the only experience we ever had, was like 1.5 selectives on notes, and after that, they were out the window on
So
back on the maps.
would that be the same case for everybody then? Like for like Mull up till 1992. I take it after 92 everybody would kind of be using pace notes, or would they still
Yeah,
be on maps?
I think a lot of them were then. I think a lot of them were on notes. They had obviously had the experience, but I was just naive, really. I mean, I just a country lad that used to fly about at night like an idiot. You know what I mean? And I just started rallying with Gareth, and luckily he was very, very good on the notes. He was very, very meticulous. I would have said he was almost as good as pace notes, because like there could have been. I'm sure there'd be people on the Bolton Midnight when we won it. I'm sure there'd be people on notes,
Yeah.
and we were just on the maps, and it is local. I mean, but some roads I didn't know. And when we went to Wales, I'm sure there'd be people on notes then that
Yeah.
we beat probably, and we were just on maps purely, and we had no sign of a note. But and I think that was the downfall when the first time we came to Mull. It was notes, you see.
Uh-huh.
And obviously we made a full set of notes and reckoned them and checked them, but I didn't have the knowledge really to like fine tune them,
Yeah.
and that's what caught us out. We just had corners. We didn't have, which obviously that's what you had on the maps. You didn't have like jumps or yumps or anything on a corner or whatever. You didn't know where they were when you're on the maps. But I think you maybe read the road better. I think
Uh-huh.
driving on notes, you'd made them notes, so you expected them to be dead right.
Yeah.
Where I think when you're on the map, you must have had that little bit of insight of reading the road and that caution, rather
Yeah.
than rather than just having, when you're on the notes. I think you didn't sort of read the road the same. That's what I found when I was merging to notes. It took me quite a while to get to grip of actually perfecting them, really.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
some rallies there were you did have some exciting times. Was it Pendragon in 91 where you actually went and you managed to win it without any notes? Is that right?
oh yeah, without a navigator, really.
Can you
Yeah,
tell me a bit about that?
my cousin Keith Hall, he because we were out of rallying at that point. You see, he'd merged from the the road rallying had finished, and there was the odd stage rally. And Pendragon was a local rally to us, and he bought this grass tracker to go grass tracking up at Orton near us, and this Toyota Celica. And I went in the yard one day, and he says, "Do you want to do Pendragon?" I says, "Oh yeah." Like, how? I said, he says, "Well, in this." I said, "You can't do it in that." "Yeah, you can. I'll get it ready. I'll get it scrutineered." He says, "No, listen, it was just a shed." And I said, "Well, I said, you get it ready. I'll drive it." And I said, "You can navigate, and I'll just I'll just do the times and that. So he got it ready, and we turned up at Pendragon. Scrutiny just narrowly let us through. He said, "Don't bring that car back here again." He says, "You can do it this year, but don't bring it back again next year." And it was we got through, and Gareth came and gave me a bit of tuition on the timing and how to do the times and all the rest of it. And it's away we went on our merry way, just flat out. And we were waiting at the start of Breeks Hall stage, I think. And I went down line and was getting the other lads' times and that, and came back to the car. And Keith says, "How are we doing? How are we doing?" I says, "We're winning it." I says, "No, yeah." And all right, I said, "Calm down." I said, "Don't tell anybody." I said, "Just keep calm." I said, "Just keep it to ourselves and we'll just carry on as we are." And we won it outright, absolutely blew them all away. There's Ian Joel in his Cosworth, and Tyson, he had a Scott Cosworth, and there's a lot of big cars. And
Yeah.
Steve Eggleston was doing it in his Escort. And we came out of Rough Club after the presentation and that. And he walked past my car. I looked at it like it was a bit of dog turd. He turned around to me and he says, "You just wouldn't believe it." And he just walked away. Yeah, it was class, really. Yeah, so yeah, it was a good experience with that one. Certainly
That's
was.
brilliant. So
Yeah.
obviously it progressed. So you've gone from this car that was basically just thrown together, and you went all the way kind of up the ranks and all different cars. So obviously you debuted Mull in '86, and then you've had, upwards of 20 Mull Rally entries. Tell me how
Yeah.
like the event and how you progressed and evolved all through those years. Like, what was the changes that you've seen? Because obviously there was a stark difference from turning up in '86 and then the pace notes, etc., that you're talking about, going from maps onto notes, and then taking it a bit more serious and a bit more serious, and how it progressed through the years. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, well, obviously there was a lot of rallying in among them 20 moles,
Oh, yes, yes.
you know, and a lot of the progression with the notes and that. The main progression with the notes was when Steve Wilson started navigating for us, uh, and I went out, and he basically taught me how to make notes, really. And even when he taught me, I still hadn't fully grasped it. Um, and then I did start to get it together. I don't know why I couldn't just grasp it fully, uh, to absolutely understand exactly what you need in them, how they need to talk to you. And I think probably one of the big curves was our Chris. Obviously, he started into rallying,
Yeah,
and I think with him playing on the PlayStation and that, he had a real knowledge of notes, understanding notes, which surprised me, and I think I learned a lot from him with really perfecting notes.
yeah,
Uh, and then obviously with Mull, that progressed just with. I mean, I haven't really noticed massive changes with the rally itself. It's still that's to me, it's stayed the same, even though it's changed a bit over the years, and there's been different formats. I think it's all to me, it's still got everything it always had.
yeah.
It's lost a little bit of the magic maybe the last couple of years. Not sure why that is. Just seems to be not quite that spark,
Uh-huh.
around the town and that. But I think that'll come back. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Um, but I think going off the line a little bit, I think the cost that maybe the charge for people
Yeah.
to go there, that maybe needs addressing a little bit. I think
And
that
that's
could
as a
be.
whole, not just the actual like driving the car or for the teams, like the whole getting yourself up there, trying to source accommodation, trying to get a
Yeah,
room in a B&B or some hotels.
yeah,
Accommodation, nightmare.
and
Getting on these
even
pesky ferries.
yeah. Well, if you're doing it, you're doing it. You're committed. I think what brings the atmosphere is the spectators, isn't it? And I think that's maybe difficult for them is the cost for spectators. Um, but anyways, we didn't get into that.
Yeah.
It yeah, but yeah, obviously the way Mull evolved. I mean, probably one of my best years was it '96 when I was sixth, maybe in the Corolla. I think I was seeded number 36. And we had a real good run that year. Like it just went like clockwork.
Yeah.
Wasn't really a quick car, but there wasn't many lads went out. It was a dry year, quick year, and that's what really broke me through. Was that result really? I mean, obviously I had a passion for it, but I would have said that year was the one that gave me that sort of hunger for it. I thought with the car I had and what we had to drive with, and I thought I think I could win this rally.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I thought to myself after that, because we had some quite good times and on the stages, if you know what I'm saying, and I just knew if I had the right car, and had the right head on, it could happen, Unfortunately, it never has.
Yeah.
But we've been very close, extremely close, really. Obviously, the first year we came in the Evo, and Daniel was in the Evo, and Neil and Callum, me and Daniel just absolutely blew them away. And that's, that's a true statement, really. They just didn't have an answer for us that year. I think I took 15 seconds out of Neil on the first run of our ton.
Yeah. Which is not a very long stage. That I have got that is down as one of my questions because
is it 2.5 miles?
Our turn stage is returned after 2016 was the last time it's there. We're getting it back this year. And if there's any man to ask how to go faster in our turn, it's yourself. You've always been blisteringly fast down there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good stage, isn't it? I mean, obviously I went off down there, and I didn't realise until I went off when Andy Rich was navigating for me, when we were lying second overall in the Evo 9. I went off at the school there, just around to Leicester. Ended up on our roof and then back on the wheels. But I had the Pirelli N3 wet tyres on, but I didn't realise that compound tyre only works above about 12 degrees. And we had them tyres on when we went off around our ton. All of a sudden, on our ton there, they just broke, and we actually just slid under the fell. And I knew where the road was, so I drove across the fell thinking, and I'll just drive back on the road, and it was obviously that drop down on, so we ended up like that, facing the road, and that was us. We were stuck there, so we didn't actually crash really. We just spun off the road, and I drove over the edge. That was the game over. But
and then that was it, beached really. That was it. Had it.
That was it, yeah. And then on like with Andy in the Evo 9, it was actually exactly the same thing. We were coming down to that sort of square right before the school there, and I think it's a school, isn't it? Where you go through the junction, don't you? And then there's like a square right, and then a left over a crest, and there's a house or an old school or something on the right there. And it just went on us. It just broke on us, and that was it. We were off, and I didn't realise till after I was talking to Dick Cormack, who was the Pirelli manager, and talking to him, he asked me what tyres I had on, and he says, "Well, that's your problem." He said, "Them tyres won't work below 12 degrees," and it was about 6 degrees or something, so 5 degrees. So unfortunately, that was a bit of an error in the, but another memorable time on Mull actually was the first time Duff did it. We were down.
What year was that?
Now then, Fergus, that's me a question there. It was the first year.
I've researched you and I've done one with Duff, but I don't have that knowledge in my brain.
No. It must have been about 97 or something, wasn't it? Something like that. So I'm not sure really. Possibly, yeah, something like that maybe. But we were down the backside of the steps there. When you go down the other side, we were down there. We got a puncture. It was daylight. We pulled in a lay-by, and I just saw this car come over them crests and over them yumps, and it was bouncing all over the road. And it was this old, I think it's Red Mark 2, wasn't it? Ford Escort or something.
Aye, aye. Post
Went
office
past
red.
and I said, it just went bouncing past us and it nearly cleaned me up because I was beside the road changing my wheel. And I said, the guy that says, hey, what's that? And they said, oh, it's that young lad off Mull. Yeah, that was definitely a memorable moment on Mull.
And you've had some great battles over the years as well with you and Duff and that. And certainly that was one man who he specifically mentioned that of all the people and like the non-locals and stuff, like he would never have begrudged you a win. Like you were always one that if you'd won, you were like fully deserving, and you know it was just robbed away from you a couple of times. Like I've got down here, you know, you're second in '99, third in 2010. You know, you were always very, very close. Like, how did it feel to, you know, like come that close and you know not actually get that elusive win?
Yeah, a bit disappointing. But also, like, you know, in my own mind, and I knew I could beat the locals. You know, I proved I could beat them.
Yeah,
So in a sort of humbling sort of way, I know I could have got there, even though I haven't won it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I've sort of satisfied myself that I got there,
yeah,
even without winning it. You know, like obviously I've been leading it. Uh, yeah, I've gone out, but you know, the time I was leading it with Daniel, that was just an error, really. You know, I mean, pity I had the wrong tyres on, and it was, but anything could have happened. There was a lot of rally to go after that. But it's more, I mean, a lot of times I've um, been lying second
yeah,
and broke down, and that's worse, really. You know, because we have a bit of a joke that you know they would say on the Saturday night, now don't break down because Copey will grab your place. You know. I was always just in front of John, really, and there's loads of times that he got my place. You know, like I think on about 3 occasions I broke down when I was lying second. Um, Probably couldn't have gone for the win, but and then the year I did it with Chris, he navigated for me, um, and we both came so relaxed, so prepared. Uh, he was really understanding with the notes.
yeah,
Um, and we were out we were out for it that year without a doubt. You know, in our minds we were confident, quietly confident between ourselves that we could win it.
yeah,
Uh, and we sent the tyres off because we had sevens on, seven slicks on, and we sent them off on the locks. Slid into a ditch. That's the year Copey slid off on the top as well. We
yes,
both got a maximum. Uh, Callum and Neil went out. James were leading it. And I think I was maybe, I'm not 100% sure of these stats, but I think I was about 89th overall when we got to service. And I went off around Calgary we're coming towards Calgary Bay, but I was just pushing so hard. And I think we were back up to 7th.
Jesus, from
And
89th.
the times we were putting, I said to Chris, I says, we'll definitely win this rally. I said, you know, I said, the times we're putting and the times we're taking back out of them, we will definitely win it. Because our ton was in, I think. We took a handful of time out of James down
Yeah,
there. And we were leaving Cope in the wake. You know, John wasn't pulling the times we were. And that's probably one of my biggest disappointing years. You know, that I could have won it with Chris. You know what I mean? And then
yeah,
that would have been the icing on the cake, really.
yeah,
But unfortunately, I just pushed that a little bit too hard, and we skipped over. We were in the tight bits before you drop down to the beach at Calgary there,
yeah,
and it was just a right hander over a little bit of a crest. And we went light, and it just threw us out and hit the barrier, hit the arm cone, pushed the front wheel back, and that was it really. So it wasn't major damage. It was just pushing that little 115% instead of 110.
Well, the organisers and everyone around you obviously knew what your ability was because, you know, here you were car number 3 for years 2000, 2003, 2004, and then 2007 you were car number 2. So they obviously knew your ability and having, you know, been leading the rally and been so close, several times. They obviously, they knew just as well as you did your pace and how good that you can go on that, technical event that is Mull. But then, like, obviously, I like to talk about Mull because that's my favourite event, or like the only one that I really do. But like you said in the past, there was a lot of rallies in between there, including a rally out in the Focus WRC car out to Ukraine, I believe. I was wondering, could you tell me a bit about that story and how that came about and some of the things that happened on that rally? Because it certainly sounded exciting.
Yeah. It was exciting. Yeah. Well, it was Andrew Tinkler, Tink, who I grew up with, really, and
Yep.
William Stobbart, Willie. They own WA Developments. And then they bought Stobbart's. Willie's brother, Eddie Stobbart's, was going down, so they bought Stobbart's. And Tink knew I was very passionate about rallying. We'd actually done GB in a Group N Evo the year before. Broke down on GB, the electrical fault it was. So we came back, did the Pendragon. We were second on the Pendragon behind Jasper in his Metro. We should have actually won the Pendragon, but we had just a couple of mistakes, lost a little bit of time. But we should have won that in that Group N car. And then I wanted to buy the Evo, you see. I got the Evo, and then Tink had this harebrained idea he'd buy 2 World Rally cars. I don't know how it all came about or where he's so spontaneous. He just does things out of the blue. He just thinks of something, does it, and that's it. And he had connections out in Ukraine. He had businesses out there, and he got talking to this chap out there, Vasily, about these rallies. And there was a big rally in Kiev, and or Kiev, or how you pronounce it out there. And so he had this idea: he'd buy 2 World Rally cars from M-Sport, go out and do this rally. So, and he said, "Would I drive a car?" I said, "Well, obviously I'll drive a car."
Sign me up.
So it was like logistically took some organising. Buckley's came on board as for looking after the cars, and the plan was to do that rally. And he'd talked to Malcolm, and actually got Malcolm to agree to put Matthew in the other car when we came back, and we would have an assault on the BRC.
Yeah.
So we went out to Ukraine. Everything sort of came together. We went out and wrecked. This facility, he gave us the stages. You see, he knew the crack. He knew where the stages were and everything. So he gave us everything we needed to go and wreck the stages. So we made notes and everything. So when the rally came around, we were on it. See, the notes were on it, and I'll just have to plug my phone in. The battery's telling me it's going on. And so we did our recce, got on with the rally. Coming down the stage, Steve told me square left. And it was all taped up, all boxed off like a box junction. So I just whacked it right. I just thought he said left instead of right. "What are you doing? Where are you going? Where are you going?" I said, "Well, that's box junction." No, you're going the wrong way. I said, "Well, what do you want me to do?" Flying down this road. It was in like an army barracks sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so we carried on. Turn left, and all this. And we ended up back on the stage. And we got to the end of the stage, and we didn't know, but they'd sabotaged the stage because we were winning the rally. And this McCoffey team that were second behind us, he was in an Evo, but like supposedly a Group N Evo, but it was he was pulling the same times as me, so it was obviously
It wasn't standard.
no, it was next door to a world car. But
Yeah.
it had to be because we were on notes and our notes were bob on, and it was almost just swapping seconds with us really. But we were leading it maybe by about 15, 14 seconds or something. And it was realised they'd sabotaged the stage to try and make us go wrong. But we ended up with more or less the same time if we'd done the stage, luckily. So I went to see them and had a bit talk with them and said, look, we're just here to do the rally and we want to have a fair battle with you. And I said, you're pulling the same times as me. I said, that car is not Group N. You know that and I know that. So let's just do it properly, and they understood English, And from then on in, we had a good battle. I won the rally, but and he came to our meal. Him and a couple of his lads in the team came to the meal on that night after the presentation, and it ended up really well. But yeah, that was the Ukraine job. Yeah, it was. And Tink actually did the rally in the other Focus. Can't remember what he came. He maybe came fifth or sixth because he did a bit of rallying, and so did Willie. Willie Stubber, but because I used to wind Willie up because he got his own back in the end with the Pendragon rallies. But we were doing a rally one night. I think it was maybe I don't think it was Illuminations. It might have been our local one. I can't remember. Name's gone out of my head now. But it was the local one, and Willie was leading it because we'd gone wrong on a junction. And anyways, later on, he kept asking me my times, and I kept giving him false times. So we were taking loads of time out of him, and but I was just committed to it was win or bust really. You know,
Yeah.
I was taking big risks like because I had quite a lot of time to fall back on him. Anyways, we won him in the end by about 2 minutes, and it got to the end. And he says, "You told me the wrong times. Them times you were wrong. You were telling me." I said, "I know." I said, "Look," I said, "I'm sorry. I just didn't." I said, "I was absolutely committed to win or crash." And I said, I didn't want you to push that hard to crash. So I just didn't want to tell you what times we were pulling really." And I said, that was my reason. But I said, if it was wrong and I should have told you the truth, I'm sorry. But I said, and then he was all right. And then when the Pendragon came around, we started doing that. He always hired a Focus from Hemsworth. So I ended up second about 4 years on the trot behind him on the Pendragon.
Yeah.
He had to get his own back for that one. But yeah, so and then Tink dabbled a bit as well, you see. So he did the Ukraine rally in the Focus.
Yeah.
And then obviously we started the VRC assault in the Focus. Wales Rally was the first one. We were actually second overall on the first stage in the Focus. First time I'd ever been on gravel in it.
Yeah.
And then we were seeded quite well back. We had a bit of a bad run with getting dust. Spoiled our rally really, so that spoiled that result. But a decent result on Jim Clark. We'd have done even better on Jim Clark, but we had a little spin on the stage in is it Charter Hall service area that had a stage in there.
Right. Okay.
We spun in there, got stuck on a tyre, but yeah, it went pretty well in the Focus really. We had a couple of big crashes in it, and then it was costing a bit too much. So Ting said, "I'm gonna have to cut my losses," and he actually put Higgins in the car for the last couple of events because I wasn't gonna, the results. I wasn't going to achieve anything, and we weren't doing it. We weren't doing it the following year. So he wanted a couple of results really to get the publicity for the car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said, even though you are getting me quite a lot of publicity, he said,
It's more like McRae style publicity.
yeah. So yeah, because we had a massive jump on the Jim Clark, and that was quite well broadcast. For the big jump at Swinton there, we never backed off, and that was quite an experience, that jump.
Yeah.
We jumped past the camera actually because there was a camera set up to catch people coming on and landing, and we actually went past the camera in the air. So he
I'll
didn't
have
get
to
us,
search
man.
that and try and find that video. If I can, I'll try and get it up.
Yeah, well, I think all it shows is the car landing. You just see the tyre landing, and the tyre compressed almost completely flat. Yeah, on the video, yeah, it's quite impressive. But yeah, so
tell me, what's the challenges between all these different cars that you've used over the years? Like between you've had the Focus WRC car, and then you've had numerous escorts and stuff, and then obviously you've had the Evos. Like, what's the differences, and what's the most like favourable for the rallies that I'd be familiar with? Like, what's the differences between them all, and what's your favourite, I suppose, as well?
I would have said Mark II is probably my favourite.
Right. Okay.
A really well set up quick Mark II would probably be my favourite car to drive.
And why is that?
Uh,
Is it the good chassis on it?
yeah, it's just everything about them really,
Yeah,
and it's the sound in it as well. You know what I mean? It's the sound and the way they handle, the way you've got to wrestle with them a little bit. And it just takes you back to the beginning, if you know what I mean, where where you really enjoyed it. You just got that thrill of driving a car quick, you know what I mean,
yeah,
and it brings all that back. I think. Um, I would have said none of them are really a challenge. The Evo was when I first got in the Evo. That was a bit of a challenge on gravel, um, learning what it did with
uh-huh.
the 4-wheel drive. Just basically understeering, oversteering. Not through the car's fault, through my own fault.
Okay.
But once you get to grips with that, I think I'm not really bothered what car I get in. Really, I can just adapt and drive that car to its limit. You know what I mean? I think I'm quite good at judging. Some people might disagree. Judging where the car's limit is. Whatever I'm driving, whether it's
Yeah,
a standard road car, hire car, a rally car, I think, or even my push bike, I can seem to be able to find and feel the limits of the machine, if you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, I seem to, luckily have quite a good ability to be able to feel that. Because a lot of lads struggle, obviously. I think the ones that struggle is the ones that can't understand and have that feel, that takes them a long time to progress. Uh, and find the limits and understand what the limits are and to feel the limits. I think that's one of the biggest things with driving quick. And then obviously it's the notes after that. But I mean, I do enjoy driving the 4-wheel drive. They've just got so much stability, and I
uh-huh.
think I would like the newer R2s and that. I think they'd be so agile and 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 just feel so positive and confident. And I'd probably like to have a go on one of them,
Yeah,
but that's the you see the it's just you know it's the ability of what I've got in me now when I'm a bit older. I don't know if I've still got that edge that you just need. If you know what I'm saying. But I
yeah.
wouldn't I wouldn't really know that until I got out there.
So, like, even now, after so many years of doing so well in Mull, like, would you even consider now coming back and trying to get that win, or just coming back to enjoy it, or have you had any thoughts about that at all?
Yeah, I've threatened to do it for the last couple of years, to be honest. uh, Sonia isn't very interested in that idea. She'd rather go to Barbados, probably, or somewhere like that, Canary Islands. But no, yeah, I definitely have a bit of a passion to do it again. It's what to do it in and what level to do it in. Like you say, it's. I don't think I'd like to come back and do it just to do it.
Yep.
Uh, but then have I got that, you know, sort of a raw passion to come back and do it with the aggression to try and win it, and have I still got what it takes to do that
Yeah.
and safely do it? That's what I don't know really. We're not rallying for quite a long time.
Uh-huh.
When I get out on the road in my car, I've got quite a quick road car, which is 4-wheel drive, and occasionally I get a little bit carried away in that, and then I'm quite happy, but it's a different matter sitting on the start line and mulling it and uh, and knowing, whether you have still got that raw pace.
Yeah.
It's uh, it's a tough one really. I'd have to do a couple of rallies to try and feel in and see what I thought really,
Yeah.
and
And
then
to achieve like the sort of pace and the results that you'd be chasing, like obviously you've touched on how important like your feel for the car is, natural ability and pace notes. How crucial would you say his car setup been for you over the years? Like, I almost feel that you might give the answer of, well, we just set it, there or thereabouts, and then I just drove the bloody just drove the wing mirrors off it. I feel that you're the type of person that would be like, well, I don't really care. Give me a car that's set up half good, and I'll put in the times. Or did you get quite technical in the setup?
No, we got very technical with the setup. Yeah, yeah,
Right. Okay.
yeah. We once we get in the Focus and on the Riga, I absolutely swear by Riga. Put that on my Evo. And Mark Eccleston worked at M Sport. He serviced for me. He did a lot of prep with me, and he was absolutely a wizard on the setup. Because around Regal, you've got every type of terrain. Like that's where I grew up, my home village,
Mhm.
and you can just go out at night. There's just no houses. You pass two farms on sort of a 5 mile loop. There's only two farms, and if you're out there at night, you know the roads, you know where to look for anything coming. So you can
Yeah.
drive absolutely committed. Uh, there's jumps, there's dips, there's corners, there's fast bends, and Mark could feel. Well, I said to get the feel as well. You see, he learned me to feel whether your low speed, high speed was a little bit needed tweaking, and
Yeah.
the softness of it just having that, what instability in the fast corners, and then we got it absolutely bob on, really. Yeah, no, I think that's paramount, really. It's absolutely, if you want to be on that edge, your car's got to help you, really. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, Mark was the man. Like he would come out with his, and he would say, "Oh, I think we need to just tweak the high speed up a little bit," and I would say, "Yeah, yeah, I'll definitely go with that." And then
Yeah.
we go out again and go out again and go out again, and there's a dip that we go through, and it's got quite a compression in it, and we would tweak it till you could take it absolutely flat out. But when we first got in the car, if you took it flat out, you'd either knock the sump out or you'd bounce off the road.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
then we just tweaked and tweaked and tweaked until you're probably doing 110, 120 mile an hour through this dip that you wouldn't contemplate doing 70 mile an hour in a road car.
Yeah.
And it would just absolutely unbelievable, really.
Yeah.
And then, the fast stuff as well, like sort of bobbly corners, and just absolutely committed, and it would just stick to the road. And before we got the suspension right, you'd have been off the road. It's that important, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Moving on, you spoke about your son Chris and
yeah.
how on the rally where you both went off, and that was the one you were kind of kicking yourself. You could have got that win then with him. Now, obviously, we know that Chris went on to do a bit of rallying himself, sort of from the years of 2006 to 2009. What was his aspirations, and was he just kind of following in your footsteps?
Following in my footsteps, obviously, yeah, he got the absolute bug with me rallying. They had quad bikes when they were younger in our fields at home, and he was an absolute idiot on them. Because he had quite a big quad, Suzuki 250, rear-wheel drive. He had a big accident on that, actually, that he didn't tell me about. Damaged his shoulder, and it's still not right today. Like, obviously, he tore some tendons and things like that.
Yeah,
But he didn't tell me. He didn't dare tell me. But they used to take this jump absolutely flat out and do about a 20-meter jump on these quads. And then, his passion was there, really, right from early days. And then he did the grass tracking, and he did really well at the grass tracking. Unbelievably well, really. I mean, he drove a rear-wheel drive Starlet with a welded up diff, and how he won the grass, he won him in that thing, I don't know, because I couldn't hardly drive the damn thing with the diff welded up.
yeah,
But yeah, and then we put like a proper diff in for him, and he just blew everybody away with that one. And we put him in an Astra front wheel drive, and he just adapted to that right away. And he won in that as well. So, and then obviously he went on to the Peugeot, came to Mull in that, and he just adapted unbelievably, really. You know,
He
he
did
was
very well in
so.
the Peugeot and Mull, didn't he? Actually,
Oh yeah,
was it 12th or 14th or something?
yeah.
He
I
came.
think he was 12th. I think he was 12th.
Yeah,
Um, uh, yeah, he just adapted. You know, he's so methodical about everything, like way more mature. I would have said he was more mature than I was. I learned things from him when he started rallying. Just
yeah.
the way his approach, uh, where he got so much knowledge from, I don't know. I'll have to ask him. uh, and whether it was, you know, with the PlayStation days and things like that, and just reading motor news, because he used to get motor news every week. Well, I subscribed him to that when he was quite young, when he was having problems reading actually.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, I'll get him motor news. You know, he was into rallying and that, and he, yeah, just had slight problems at school, just a couple of learning problems, and reading was one of them. And then he just came through all that, and
Motorsport sorted that out for him.
blew it all away, yeah. And he'd do a lot of reading with the motor news and that, you see, and he still reads a lot actually, because I'm crap at it. I don't read anything.
Yeah.
I couldn't sit down and read a book. Um, and yeah, in his development and then into the Fiesta, obviously, uh, and that result on Mull in the Fiesta, I mean, that was somewhere else really. With Rich Milner.
2008 that was him, and was Rich Milner sitting with him?
Yeah, it was Rich.
And
Yeah,
they came sixth, didn't they?
yeah.
And I
It's just
remember
what's
there was a video that said, or an in-car or something, and he said that they'd gone that hard, they'd basically gone beyond the limit of the car, that they'd damaged the car, bent it up, or they've done something, but
yeah,
basically they were just going that hard in it that the car was struggling to cope. But he
yeah. That's
just got
right.
an absolute stonking result, didn't he?
Yeah, because it was just standard. You know, this it was the standard like Fiesta that they use in the championship, like. Um, and oh yeah, it just pushed it beyond itself, really. Yeah, it was some result was that like, because when they came to first service, they were beating God knows who, weren't they? Like world cars and everything, and I think they were beating John and people like that, and it was just absolutely ridiculous, really.
Yeah,
Uh, and he when he was doing Fiesta Championship, he did Grizel stages in my Evo and won that, and he'd never been in a four-wheel drive,
yeah,
and he actually he won that easily, really. So he had some ability. I mean, he you know his passion was to carry on and get there, really. You know, because he was up there beating Elfin and Craig. You know, Craig Breen, God bless him. He was beating them lads. You know, when we went to Ireland that time, there was two events. One followed the other, didn't it? And it was double points, I think. Uh, and it was the stub shaft broken Chris's Fiesta, and he was actually beating Craig in on his home event. So it was definitely there, because he was beating Elfin in Wales as well. I think something happened there, or did he actually beat Elfin? I can't remember, to be honest. I'll have to get my facts right on that, but yeah, the pace was definitely there. I think without a doubt, and he was very committed, so methodical. With the approach. He had all the attributes, really. I think he could have got there, but it was just the commitment, that you've got to put in.
uh-huh.
It sort of takes your life, really. And he was finding it harder to conjure up the sponsorship. And as you know, what that's like trying to
Yeah,
badger people for sponsorship. And he just couldn't see it happening, really. He struggled for the commitment to try and keep pushing on, and for that to just be his life. And that's what made him decide not to pursue, to carry on. It's a shame, really, because
yeah,
when he gave up, and he said, if I won lottery, I'd definitely go back. This is just an odd year after he stopped doing it.
yeah.
If yeah, he said if he'd had the money off, somebody would back him. He would 100% do it. But
Terrible
yeah,
shame, really. It's kind of like the story of what could have been, isn't it?
it is really, yeah, it is a shame. Yeah, it would have been nice to see what he could have achieved, really.
Yeah.
Because with his approach and his pace, I think, like, you like to sort of bull your own up, but I think he could have done it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he does say now, that the pace them lads are on, he says, I don't know whether I could have done that. And I said, well, I think you could, but I don't
That's
know if
just
I
the
could.
humility coming through, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if I could. He'll say, I said, well, you'll never know, yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, I think he had it. I think it was definitely more likely to get there than I would have been at his age, without a doubt.
Yeah.
A much better, more mature mindset
Uh-huh.
and understanding of everything, and took so much on board, learned so much from people, and asked a lot of questions, asked the right questions to other drivers, and that, and he got a lot of information off Matt, Matt Wilson, and
Yeah, yeah.
Matt learned him a lot, actually, and Guy Wilkes, he learned him a lot. Uh, and yeah, he just sucked it up like a sponge, really, and took it all in and used it without any problem whatsoever, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was certainly rallying in the family with yourself and, somebody to follow. And obviously your reputation as a keen rally man over the years, but it's not all rallying. The rumour has it that being a keen cyclist, you have the stage record for the long one. Now, is that true or false? Tell me
Well,
more.
it could be true. It could be true. I don't know. I think what's Fraser's brother called on Mull there?
Paul.
No, Fraser. The Fraser that works on the rigs.
Oh,
Uh,
McGuinness.
McGuinness. Yeah.
Stephen McGuinness.
What's his brother called?
Stephen.
Stephen. No, he's keen cyclist now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he could break it probably. I don't know what he's done around there, to be honest. Yeah, I think I did 1 hour, 1 minute and 5 seconds or something like that. I think my ambition was to get under the hour, but that time of year is you never just you're more focused on the rally, but yeah, um, that was my aim. I mean, I started doing it. Well, I started doing it. I had a passion for cycling, obviously. There's a 22-mile course similar time trial at home that we do, that I've gone under the hour on 2 or 3 times. So I thought I should be able to get under the hour on that one. You see, quite narrow roads. That's a little bit of a holdback. I did used to get a lad like Carl, my brother-in-law, and Howard, that service for us. They would go ahead with an orange flashing beacon on.
And basically shut the road.
Well, yeah, just to warn cars coming the other way that I was coming. That's when I got my best time. Because obviously, when you're coming down Calgary, you're doing 35, 40 mile an hour, so you don't want to come over a crest and meet a car in the middle of the road, really. Because you've sort of got to be in the car line, or else if you're on the gravel, you're off the road. Like,
Yeah.
so, yeah, so I did have that assistance, but it, it, and I also did it in conjunction of raising money for the Bear Cubs, you see.
Okay, yes.
I raised a lot of money for them through that. I got people to sponsor me
Uh-huh.
to do that, to do the 22 miler on the bike.
And this was all done around like Rally Week then, was it? So when you were
Yeah,
coming up to
yeah,
the rally, you would do the cycling as well.
yeah, yeah,
You pick the busiest time of year to go as fast as you can on a push bike. You're off
exactly.
your head.
But we used to go on Thursday morning. We used to do it quite early. I would set off about maybe 7:30 Thursday morning. Or well, depending on the weather, really. I'll pick either Wednesday morning or Thursday morning. But yeah, we'd raised quite a lot of money for the Bear Cubs, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, so that was quite a motivating thing as well. We were raising money for them, and I would, because I'm quite persuasive in getting sponsorship out of people. So
Yeah.
And when you get in the mission on like Tuesday night and Wednesday night when they've had a few beers, they tend to scuff up quite a bit easier.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I got quite a bit of money gathered in for them, really. Yeah.
So obviously, that competitive nature that you have, does that kind of cross over into the cycling then? And is that why you're so, kind of, let's say, passionate? Some would say addicted, and some would say passionate. Would you say you're addicted or passionate about cycling?
Um, I would say passionate. Not, not. I wouldn't say I'm addictive because I know lads with the time trialing. You see,
Yeah,
um, to be on the top level and winning the time trials, you've got to be addicted, completely addicted. Them lads are, that is their life. They just eat the right things, do the right things, train every day, and I don't do that. I would have to do that to be at the top level of the cycling, and sort of in my age, you know what I mean. I think I probably could, but I just couldn't really commit to do that, to be that committed to giving that much time and that much effort
yeah,
towards it. You've got to turn yourself inside out, like really, you've got to cross that line and nearly fall over.
yeah.
Because I have done hill climbs, quite a few hill climbs, and some I've done if they have catches at the top, and if a couple I've done if they didn't have catches at the top, I'd have collapsed. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So just what is that at the top of the hill at the finish? Once you
yeah,
back
yeah.
off, your
You
body
just
just gives in.
you just push yourself that hard, and you can see that line. You want to give up then when you can see the line, but you just got to push yourself over that line. As soon as you get over that line, somebody's going to help you.
Yeah,
And if they didn't catch you, you would fall off the bike. Like, yeah, you can't really stand up for 30 seconds, really. Yeah, but to be that committed on the bigger rides, the 10, 25, 50 mile. I mean, I just did the Alberta Condor Gran Fondo last weekend out in Spain here,
uh-huh.
which is 147k, 91 mile. Uh, and I nearly averaged 17 mile an hour, but 16.9, I think. So I did all right on that. And that it was a fantastic event, really. But doing something like that is almost the equivalent to doing Mull.
Yeah,
You're up and down the mountains in among all them bikes. It was closed roads. Uh, Absolutely unbelievable event. I put a post on Facebook actually. If you search out there, you can have a look at it. And it absolutely threw it down for about 2 hours in the middle of the race.
yeah,
And there was some bad crashes. I had a real near moment. So when you were comparing it to the rally, it's in there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I've just bought myself a new bike uh, with all the full running, singing and dancing gear kit on and stuff,
yeah,
wheels and all the rest of it. So it's a bit like getting in an R2. You know what I mean? And doing Mull.
yeah,
It does have that same sort of kick and passion and feeling.
yeah,
And to get on a bike like that, you can tell the bike feels good.
uh-huh.
Similar to getting in the rally car. It is a very similar sort of
Similar
situation.
mindset.
Definitely, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. And when you're on the start line, waiting to start with, there's 2,301 people on that start line,
yeah,
and it gets you going on because you're trying to get up nearer the start, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And your heart rate gets going, and and you kick off that line, and it's go like really,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then
Fantastic.
yeah,
So
it's
obviously you've had lots of years rallying and cycling and many other things. Like looking back over the years, what's some of like your proudest moments, for example?
proudest moments
Yeah.
uh, in general.
Yeah, open it up to in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be rallying, but
Yeah. Well, I would have said, yeah, probably like the proudest thing is is getting married and having the children. Really, that's one of the things I'm the most proudest of, and the grandchildren. I'm very passionate about family,
Yeah.
and that's definitely one of the prime things in my life. And the rallying, obviously, that is, there's been some good moments in there,
Yeah.
like I said, I think in '96 or whatever, that's one of the standout, moments that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
It just seemed to be just a really enjoyable rally. Ukraine rally was good. That went very well. Just a lot of nice atmosphere, good crack, good feeling. And then obviously, there's the cycling and that. Proud moments is when you get your PBs,
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do, a sub 20, like a 21 sort of minute 10 mile and things like that. You get a 54-minute 25 mile and things like that. I'd like to go on sub 4 hour on 100 mile, but I've never just done that one. Just gone over 4 hours. But I've gone well under 2 hours on 50 mile. I think I've done a 1:53 or something like that on the 50 mile. But so them sort of moments stand out in me,
Yeah.
And then with the rallying, it's probably most humbling to see the achievements that Chris did,
Yep.
And to think that I helped him do that, and achieve that, and winning the Grisel and things like that, and winning some of his the Fiesta Challenge events and that, and the Peugeot, all like he won the Peugeot Challenge first year I did it, with Ella, and that
Yeah.
was quite rewarding, that he pulled that off. It was fantastic, really. And nice for Pat Flynn. He passed away, and for Ella to be with him, and Pat was obviously the real driver behind that Peugeot Challenge and that. And
Yeah.
for Ella to win it with Chris, I think it'd be nice for Pat as well,
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been lots of nice moments, really. Yeah,
And then
definitely.
going forward from now, like what's on the horizon? You're a very, busy man, and obviously you're still keen at your cycling and stuff, and there's talk of rallying. What are the goals for the future? Is there anything on the horizon? Even out with rallying and cycling, for example.
Well, I need to get myself properly retired because when I'm working, and then obviously we go on holiday quite a bit as well now. Sonia's mum and dad had the villa in Spain, and we've sort of taken that over. We've just been there for 3.5 weeks actually. Left there, and a couple's come in for the honeymoon, which is nice. Because we let it out a bit, and it's nice that they got engaged there a couple of years ago, and they've come for the honeymoon. But so, well, plans for the future is to get all my work done at my house.
Right. Okay.
I've got about 2 years' work to do there. My son's building a new house, Sam, and that's sort of got to be finished by Christmas. So I'm going to get pretty involved with that when I get back. But it's to try and get work things out of the way, and then I can more focus on, doing actually what I want to do. Probably commit to the cycling a bit more.
Yep.
Try and put a bit more time into that, and get a bit more up the ladder on the veteran scene.
Yeah.
And I would like to do Mull again, but it's obviously the cost. Committing to spend that sort of amount of money.
Yeah.
Just exactly what to do, and how to go about it, I'm not sure. But it's definitely not a no-no. It's definitely something that I did tell everybody I was going to do it when I was 60, but I'm 61 now, so
Yeah.
maybe I have to tell them I'll do it when I'm 70. But at the moment, my eyes are still very good. Still have very good long distance. Because that's one thing you definitely need for Mull. At night you want pretty good eyes. So
Yeah.
They are deteriorating slightly, that I've noticed at night. But obviously glasses would sort that. Uh, but uh, but that is, that is a factor. But yeah, just and then going on holiday more.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Hopefully. Yeah. But because obviously, I love coming out to Spain and getting on the bike. Just
Yeah.
you can't beat it really. This time of year, the weather's just fantastic, and it's slightly hot the odd day for biking, but it's bearable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your time out in the villa. You do plenty of cycling and you get pen to paper and get that Mull Rally route map squared away and make a way forward, and we'll see you back soon.
Yeah, that's
We're
good,
not waiting
Fergus.
until you're 70. That's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah, well, who knows? Watch his space.
Watch this space.
We might
Excellent.
make we
Well,
might make
Dougie,
it
thank you very much.
we might make it 65. We might bring it back a bit.
Well, we've got that on film now, so we'll see you in a couple of years.
Okay, Fergus.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.